Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to speak to your heart about the power of faith, expectation, and the words you speak. You see, life has a way of responding to what we believe, to what we declare, and to the energy we put out. Too often, we settle for less than God's best, thinking the universe is working against us, or that our dreams are too big, our challenge is too overwhelming. But let me remind you, the God who created this universe placed within you everything you need to see His promises fulfilled in your life. When you align your faith with His power, when you speak words of life and believe for His goodness, the universe will respond in ways that exceed your expectations. It's easy to look at our circumstances and feel stuck. Maybe you're facing a financial challenge, a health issue, or a relationship that seems beyond repair. You might think, this is just the way it is. I'll never get out of debt. I'll never meet the right person. I'll never fulfill my dreams. But let me tell you, the universe doesn't respond to doubt or defeat. It responds to faith. It responds when you say, I may not see a way, but I know God has a way. Things may look impossible, but with Him, all things are possible. When you start speaking like that, when you start expecting favor, breakthroughs, and opportunities, you are setting things in motion. You are calling in what God has already prepared for you. Faith is the driving force that activates the universe and aligns it with God's divine will for our lives. Often when we encounter challenges, delays, or detours, it's easy to let doubt creep in and question whether things will ever change. But faith operates in a realm beyond what we can see or touch. It's the assurance that even when the odds seem stacked against us, God is working behind the scenes. The universe, as part of His creation, responds to the energy of faith. It's not just a passive belief, it's an active, confident trust that shifts situations and moves mountains. When we look at the story of creation, we see an incredible example of faith in action. God spoke the world into existence with words of power and authority. Let there be light, He declared, and light came into being. He didn't hesitate or doubt whether the light would appear. He spoke with certainty, knowing that His words carried the creative power to bring forth change. This same principle applies to us because we are created in His image. Our words and beliefs carry the power to shape our reality. Faith isn't just about hoping for something, it's about believing it's already on its way, even before you see the evidence. Imagine standing at the edge of a barren desert where everything looks dry and lifeless. It would be easy to assume that nothing could grow there. But what if you planted seeds in that soil? At first, it might still look empty, but beneath the surface, a transformation is taking place. The seeds are taking root, drawing nutrients from the soil and preparing to sprout. That's how faith works. It's planting seeds of belief in the barren places of your life and trusting that in time they will grow and flourish. The universe designed by God responds to those seeds of faith by aligning circumstances, people, and opportunities to bring forth the harvest. One of the most powerful aspects of faith is that it doesn't require us to have everything figured out. In fact, faith often thrives in uncertainty. When we face situations where the path forward isn't clear, that's when we have the greatest opportunity to trust God completely. Faith says, I don't see how this is going to work out, but I know that God does. I don't understand how the doors will open, but I believe they will. This kind of trust sends a signal to the universe that you're ready to receive what God has prepared for you. It's not about forcing things to happen. It's about aligning yourself with God's timing and plan. Faith requires us to step out of our comfort zones. Think of Peter walking on water toward Jesus. It defied all logic and natural law, but as long as Peter kept his focus on Jesus, he was able to do the impossible. The moment he let fear and doubt creep in, he began to sink. That's a lesson for all of us. When we focus on the challenges or limitations, we lose our footing. But when we keep our eyes fixed on God and His promises, we can rise above any obstacle. Faith keeps us anchored even in the face of uncertainty. Faith also involves speaking life into your situation. When you declare God's promises over your life, you're activating the power of faith. Saying, I am blessed, I am strong, or I am favored isn't just positive thinking, it's aligning your words with God's truth. These declarations create a ripple effect in the spiritual realm, prompting the universe to respond. It's not enough to think faith-filled thoughts, you have to speak them out loud. Words have creative power, and when you use them to declare God's goodness, you're setting the stage for His blessings to manifest. Faith doesn't mean ignoring reality. It doesn't mean pretending challenges don't exist or that everything will be perfect. What faith does is shift your perspective. Instead of focusing on what's wrong, you focus on what's possible. Instead of magnifying the problem, you magnify God's ability to solve it. This shift in mindset is what sets faith apart from mere optimism. Faith isn't about wishful thinking, it's about trusting in the unwavering reliability of God's promises. Even when things don't happen as quickly as we'd like, faith reminds us to stay patient. Delays are not denials, they are often a part of God's greater plan. Sometimes He's preparing us for what's to come. Other times, He's aligning circumstances to ensure that everything works out perfectly. Either way, faith says, I trust that God's timing is better than mine. I trust that He knows what I need and when I need it. This kind of trust is what keeps us moving forward, even when we can't see the finish line. Faith also creates a sense of expectancy. When you believe that God is working on your behalf, you wake up each day with hope and excitement. You're not weighed down by worry or fear because you know that something good is on the horizon. This expectancy is like a magnet, drawing blessings and opportunities your way. The universe responds to the energy of faith by opening doors that were once closed and making a way where there seemed to be no way. Faith is the key that unlocks the doors to God's blessings. It's not about having all the answers or being perfect. It's about trusting that the one who created the universe is also orchestrating every detail of your life. When you activate your faith, when you speak life, and when you trust God's timing, you'll see the universe respond in ways that exceed your greatest expectations. Faith isn't just believing in what could be, it's knowing that with God, all things are possible. They are not merely sounds, they are seeds that shape your reality. What you speak into the world has the ability to create the atmosphere around you, influencing not only your perspective, but also the circumstances of your life. Too often, we underestimate the weight of our words, dismissing them as fleeting or insignificant. But the truth is, your words set the tone for what you attract. When you speak faith-filled, positive, and life-giving words, you align yourself with God's promises and send out a signal that the universe is compelled to respond to. Think about the story of creation. When God said, "Let there be light," light appeared. He didn't doubt or hesitate. He spoke with authority and certainty. That same creative power exists in you because you are made in His image. Every word you speak has the potential to build up or tear down, to encourage or discourage, to invite abundance or repel it. The question is, what kind of seeds are you planting with your words? Are they seeds of faith, hope, and possibility, or are they seeds of doubt, fear, and limitation? Expectation also has the power to shift the atmosphere around you. When you carry a positive outlook and a hopeful attitude, it's contagious. The people around you begin to feel it too. Your faith and optimism inspire others to believe for more in their own lives. It's like lighting a candle in a dark room. Your expectation illuminates the way for others to see God's goodness. This ripple effect creates an environment where blessings can multiply. One of the keys to maintaining a spirit of expectation is gratitude. When you're thankful for what you already have, you create space for more blessings to flow into your life. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's present, from lack to abundance. It's a reminder that God has been faithful in the past and will continue to be faithful in the future. Gratitude fuels expectation because it keeps your heart anchored in God's goodness.
Expectation requires you to take action. Faith without works is dead, and expectation without preparation is incomplete. If you're expecting a financial breakthrough, start managing your finances wisely.
If you're expecting a new job, update your resume and start applying. Taking practical steps shows God that you're serious about what you're believing for. It's a way of saying, "Lord, I trust you and I'm ready to receive." Living with expectation also means being open to surprises. God's blessings don't always come in the way we expect. Sometimes they arrive in forms we didn't anticipate or through people we least expected. When you live with an open heart, you're ready to embrace the unexpected ways God chooses to bless you. Expectation doesn't box God in, it trusts Him to move in His own time and His own way. Expectation is about aligning your heart with God's promises. It's about believing that He is a good God who desires to bless His children. When you wake up each day with a sense of hope and anticipation, you position yourself to receive His best. Expectation is the fuel that keeps your faith alive, the spark that ignites miracles, and the posture that invites the universe to respond to God's divine plan for your life. Faith is powerful, but faith coupled with action is transformative. While trusting God to move on your behalf is vital, your actions demonstrate your trust in His promises and your readiness to receive His blessings. God often calls us to take steps of faith, even when we don't see the full picture. It's through those small, consistent actions that we align ourselves with His plan and activate the opportunities He has in store for us. Think about the story of Noah. God gave him a vision of a flood and instructed him to build an ark. At the time, there were no visible signs of rain, let alone a flood, but Noah didn't wait for confirmation from the weather. He acted in faith, taking one step at a time to build the ark. His actions aligned with God's word, and because of his obedience, he was prepared when the flood came. Noah's story teaches us that sometimes the path to restoration and blessing requires us to act in faith before the evidence appears. In our own lives, it's easy to fall into the trap of waiting for everything to be perfect before we take action. We want the path to be clear, the resources to be abundant, and the timing to feel right. But God often works in ways that challenge us to step out before we're fully ready. That's because the act of stepping out demonstrates our trust in Him. When we move forward, even in uncertainty, we're saying, God, I believe you have a plan, and I'm willing to do my part. Taking action doesn't always mean making drastic changes. Sometimes it's about small, consistent steps that show your faith in God's promises. If you're believing for a new job, start preparing your resume and practicing for interviews. If you're praying for a breakthrough in your health, begin making choices that support your well-being. If you're asking for restoration in a relationship, take the initiative to reach out and make amends. These actions may seem small, but they send a message to God and the universe that you're ready to receive what you're asking for. One of the most important aspects of taking action is persistence. Not every step will lead to an immediate result, and that's okay. Sometimes the process of taking action is as much about what God is doing in you as it is about what He's doing for you. Each step strengthens your faith, builds your character, and prepares you for the blessing ahead. It's easy to get discouraged when progress feels slow, but persistence is a demonstration of trust. It says, God, I believe your promises are worth the effort. Faith-filled action also involves being willing to take risks. The Bible is full of stories where people stepped out in faith, not knowing what the outcome would be. Peter stepped out of the boat to walk on water, trusting that Jesus would sustain him. The widow, in the time of Elijah, gave her last bit of flour and oil to make bread for the prophet, believing in God's provision. These acts of faith were risky, but they were met with miraculous outcomes. Taking action often requires us to step out of our comfort zones and trust that God will meet us there. Another key element of action is preparation. When you're believing for something, it's important to prepare as if it's already on its way. If you're praying for a new home, start packing boxes. If you're asking for financial abundance, begin managing your current resources wisely. Preparation is a tangible expression of faith. It shows God that you're not just hoping for His blessings, you're getting ready to receive them. The universe responds to preparation by aligning circumstances and opportunities to match your expectations. Action also has a way of building momentum. Once you take the first step, the next one becomes easier. Each small victory gives you the confidence to keep moving forward. Over time, those small steps add up to significant progress. The key is to start, even if the first step feels insignificant. God honors movement no matter how small because it shows your willingness to partner with Him in the process. It's important to remember that taking action doesn't mean trying to control the outcome. It's about doing your part and trusting God with the rest. Sometimes we can get so focused on making things happen that we forget to leave room for God to work. Faith-filled action is about cooperation, not control. It's about aligning your efforts with God's guidance and trusting Him to bring the results. Action rooted in faith brings peace and confidence. When you know you're doing everything within your power and trusting God with the rest, you can let go of worry and anxiety. There's a sense of freedom in knowing that you've done your part and that God is faithful to do His. This peace allows you to move forward with joy, knowing that His plans are always for your good. Taking action is a vital part of aligning yourself with God's promises. It demonstrates your faith, prepares you for His blessings, and positions you to receive all that He has in store. When you take steps toward your dreams, even when the path isn't clear, you activate the divine forces that work together for your good. Each action, no matter how small, is a declaration of trust in God's plan and a catalyst for His blessings to manifest in your life. Faith is a powerful force that works hand in hand with action. When you combine what you believe with what you do, you align yourself with the opportunities and blessings God has in store for you. It's one thing to trust God to bring His promises to pass, but it's another to take steps that demonstrate your readiness to receive them. Faith without works is incomplete, and taking action, even in small ways, is a clear signal to God and the universe that you're prepared for what's coming. Consider this: when God instructed the Israelites to march around the walls of Jericho, He could have brought the walls down without their involvement, but their obedience and movement activated the miracle. They had to take action, marching, blowing trumpets, and shouting in faith before the walls fell. Similarly, when we act on God's promises, even when the outcome isn't visible, we show our trust in His plan. These steps of faith might feel uncomfortable or risky, but they are necessary to bring His purposes into fruition. Taking action doesn't always mean making significant moves right away. Sometimes it's about preparing in small but meaningful ways. If you're believing for a breakthrough in your finances, start by creating a budget and managing what you have wisely. If you're praying for a new career opportunity, update your resume and apply for jobs, even if you feel unqualified. These steps may seem minor, but they position you for the blessings God has prepared. Each step of faith sets the stage for His provision to meet you exactly where you are. Another key aspect of taking action is persistence. Often we expect immediate results, but God's timing is not always ours. Think of planting seeds in a garden. You water them, nurture them, and protect them from weeds, but the harvest doesn't come overnight. Similarly, the steps you take in faith may not yield instant results, but they are part of a process that God is using to prepare you for what's next. Each small action builds momentum, strengthens your character, and deepens your trust in God's timing. Faith-filled action also involves taking risks. Throughout Scripture, God's greatest miracles often required bold steps of faith. Peter walked on water, trusting Jesus to sustain him, even when logic and fear suggested otherwise. The widow at Zarephath gave Elijah her last meal, trusting that God would provide. These actions were risky, but they were met with miraculous outcomes. When God stirs your heart to take a step, even if it feels uncertain, trust that He is guiding you towards something greater. The willingness to step out of your comfort zone is a demonstration of faith that opens the door for God to move. Living with expectation is another critical component of aligning with God's promises. What you expect shapes how you prepare and how you perceive the world around you. Expectation is not passive, it's an active posture of faith. It's waking up each day with the belief that something good is on the horizon. When you live with expectation, you approach life with a sense of readiness. You're not waiting for opportunities to fall into your lap, you're positioning yourself to receive them. Expectation shifts your focus from lack to abundance. Instead of dwelling on what you don't have, you begin to see the blessings that are already present. Gratitude flows naturally from a heart that expects good things. You start to notice the little signs of progress, the unexpected moments of favor, and the quiet ways God is working on your behalf. These small affirmations fuel your faith and remind you that He is always faithful to His promises. Another critical aspect of expectation is preparation. When you truly expect God to move, you start getting ready for what's coming. If you're praying for a new home, start packing boxes. If you're believing for a restored relationship, take steps to reach out or improve communication. Preparation shows God that you're serious about your faith and that you trust His timing. It's like setting the table before the meal arrives. It demonstrates your readiness to receive what He has in store. Expectation also opens your eyes to opportunities that you might otherwise overlook. When you live with hope and anticipation, you're more likely to recognize the doors God is opening. What might seem like a coincidence to someone else becomes a divine connection to you. You start to see how even the smallest steps can lead to significant breakthroughs. This mindset keeps you attuned to God's hand at work, even in the details. One of the most powerful outcomes of living with expectation is the joy and peace it brings. When you trust that God is working, you're not weighed down by anxiety or fear. Instead, you're filled with a sense of calm, knowing that He has everything under control.
This peace allows you to enjoy the present moment while eagerly anticipating the future. It's a beautiful balance of trust and excitement that transforms how you approach each day.gs.
One of the first steps in cultivating gratitude is recognizing the blessings that often go unnoticed. Life can get so busy that we overlook the simple joys of sunrise, a kind word, a moment of laughter. These seemingly small gifts are reminders of God's care and faithfulness. When you make it a habit to notice and give thanks for these moments, you train your heart to see His hand in every part of your life. Gratitude helps you focus on what's going right instead of what's going wrong, which in turn strengthens your faith and fills your heart with peace. Gratitude also changes the way you respond to challenges. Life isn't always easy, and we all face seasons of struggle and uncertainty. But even in the midst of difficulty, there is always something to be thankful for. When you choose to find the good in the midst of the hard, you shift your focus from the problem to the solution. This doesn't mean ignoring reality or pretending everything is fine. It means trusting that God is working behind the scenes, even when you can't see it. Gratitude becomes an anchor that keeps you steady, reminding you of His faithfulness in the past and giving you hope for the future. The act of giving thanks also has a way of breaking down walls. Sometimes we hold on to resentment, frustration, or disappointment, especially when things don't go the way we hoped. But when you practice gratitude, those negative feelings begin to lose their grip. Gratitude softens your heart and helps you release bitterness, making room for joy and peace to take root. It shifts your mindset from one of scarcity to one of abundance, reminding you that God's blessings are always available, even in unexpected ways. Living with gratitude also impacts the people around you. A thankful heart is contagious. When you express gratitude, whether through words or actions, you inspire others to do the same.
Your positive outlook becomes a source of encouragement, creating an environment where everyone feels uplifted and appreciated. This ripple effect extends far beyond your immediate circle, spreading hope and kindness wherever you go.
Gratitude not only transforms your own life, but also has the power to change the atmosphere around you. Gratitude is closely tied to faith because it's a way of saying, I trust you, God, even before I see the outcome. When you thank God in advance for what He's going to do, you demonstrate a deep level of trust in His plan. This kind of gratitude is an act of faith that positions you to receive His blessings. It's like planting seeds in the soil of expectation, knowing that they will grow into a beautiful harvest. When you thank God for His promises before they come to pass, you align yourself with His timing and open the door for miracles. Another powerful aspect of gratitude is how it shapes your prayers. Instead of focusing solely on your needs or desires, gratitude leads you to pray with a heart full of thanksgiving. You begin to thank God not only for what He has done, but also for who He is. This shift in focus deepens your relationship with Him and brings a sense of peace that surpasses understanding. Gratitude in prayer reminds you that God's love and provision are constant, even when circumstances are uncertain. Gratitude also fuels persistence. When you're thankful for the progress you've made, no matter how small, it gives you the motivation to keep going. Each step becomes a victory, and each milestone, no matter how minor, is a reminder of God's faithfulness. Gratitude helps you celebrate the journey instead of fixating solely on the destination. It encourages you to keep moving forward, knowing that every effort is part of a greater plan. And one of the most beautiful things about gratitude is that it's always available to us no matter what season we're in. Whether you're celebrating a season of abundance or navigating a period of uncertainty, there is always something to be thankful for. Gratitude doesn't depend on circumstances, it's a choice. When you choose gratitude, you invite God's presence into your life in a profound way. His peace fills your heart, His joy becomes your strength, and His blessings overflow in ways you couldn't have imagined. Gratitude is more than a reaction to blessings, it's a lifestyle. It's a way of seeing the world through the lens of God's goodness and faithfulness. When you make gratitude a daily practice, it transforms your heart, strengthens your faith, and opens the door to new opportunities and blessings. It reminds you that God's love is constant, His plans are perfect, and His timing is always right. By living with gratitude, you align yourself with His purpose and position yourself to experience the fullness of His grace and favor. As we journey through life, the power of gratitude, faith, and expectation transforms not just our circumstances, but our very perspective. Gratitude invites us to see God's hand in every detail. Faith calls us to trust His promises even when the path is unclear, and expectation positions us to receive His blessings with open hearts. These principles work together to align us with the divine purpose and opportunities uniquely designed for us. When we choose to live with a thankful heart, take faith-filled action, and persist in hope, we step into a partnership with God that unleashes His favor and restoration. No matter where you are or what you faced, know that your journey is not wasted. Each step, challenge, and moment of perseverance is preparing you for something greater. Trust that God is always working for your good, often in ways you cannot yet see. Continue to believe, to act, and to give thanks. The universe, under His direction, is responding to your faith, orchestrating breakthroughs, and aligning resources for your benefit. Keep your heart open, your spirit expectant, and your trust unwavering. What lies ahead is far greater than anything you've left behind. The best is yet to come.